Let's quickly talk triggers, and I mean quickly. I'm not going to make this a long one. Okay, so let's understand what is triggers before we move forward. Triggers are basically a stimulus that causes a reaction. So memories can be a trigger. Smells, sounds, places, people, events can be triggers. The reason why I say we need to get rid of triggers and it's not a good thing is because it's holding us back. I know a lot of us in relationships, we tend to use it as a crutch. So when something happens in the relationship and you are triggered, you bring that up and you say, please don't do that again. That's a trigger. All good and well. It really just depends on what it is. But we are now getting to a point where we're using the trigger all the time. So please don't bang the dishes when you are washing it. It's a trigger for me. Please show me one person who can wash the dishes quietly. Please show me. No, it's impossible. So that's what I want to change. And the reason why I want to help you guys get rid of your triggers is because, again, it's the enemy's design to keep you in prison. The enemy, the devil, does not want you to know that there is freedom outside of this prison. So this is what it actually should look like. So you've got your traumatic event. It caused a trigger in you. It created a trigger. So anything that you associate to this traumatic event will be reenacted and reactivated if the trigger is set off. So now you want to move from, this is growth. Let me first say that. So from the traumatic experience all the way to building your trigger, that's growth because you are fully aware of what happened and you are now moving forward from it. Or at the very least, you're trying to move forward from it. Okay. There's another step. Don't stop here. Don't be like, these are my triggers and you've got to respect it and obey it and whatever. No. When you get to this point, you then need to move on to the next point before your final destination. Your next point is called boundaries. Okay? And after your boundaries, it's called Jesus Christ freedom. Okay. So you've got to now take your triggers. So for example, let's say your trigger is you grew up in a household that's very aggressive and they scream and shout and that's how they communicate. And in your adult life, you are triggered by it. You meet somebody who has the same personality or characteristics, and now you are triggered by it. So instead of, what you will do is you will go into a little ball. You'll take yourself into a little shell, and you're going to put yourself in the furthest corner. But you can't do that all the time because you're an adult. You are the adult in the situation. So you have to deal with the situation. So what a boundary looks like in that situation, for example, is that you will stand up and you will say, please do not scream and shout when you speak to me. There's no need to raise your voice. When you build a boundary, it shows that you are getting through the trigger. Because when you build a boundary, you are going to stand firm and you are going to be strong in what you say, and it will come across respectful. Don't worry, okay? So if it's somebody that you cannot handle the aggression and how they talk to you and they come across like they're screaming and shouting, some will say, this is just how I speak. I just have a loud voice. Then you will tell them respectfully, I hear you and I understand that. I'm asking, when you do speak to me and it's just the two of us and we're right next to each other, please may you lower your voice. You can even try to whisper. I'm right here. I will be able to hear you. Okay. Or you can tell them it's not the volume that's getting to me, it's the tone or your delivery. And the thing about boundary is you have to keep doing it. It's going to feel like you are nagging, but if you don't keep at it, they're not going to take you seriously. It's like a routine. If you keep doing something, eventually this person will start learning a new behavior. And if they do love you, and if they are sent from God, they will automatically adapt. And they're not going to have an issue. It will be such an easy transition, they won't even know that it's happened. I want to leave you with a message from Psalms. Psalm 62, verse 5 to 8. Find rest, O my soul, in God alone. My hope comes from Him. He alone is my rock and my salvation. He is my fortress. I will not be shaken. My salvation and my honor depend on Him. He is my mighty rock, my refuge. Trust in Him at all times, O people. Pour out your hearts to Him, for God is our refuge. Here you are protected. Now you've got to think about it in this form. God is your fortress. He is your refuge. He is keeping you safe at all times, and you are right there in the palm of His hand. Everything that you have experienced, all the trauma that you went through, people, places, memories, whatever it is, smells, tastes, whatever it is, God can heal it. Because Christ is your firm foundation, and He's going to keep you on the ground by healing you. Please stop listening to social media. Please stop listening to even your therapist. I'm sorry. Your therapist is there to make money off of you. Stop listening to them when they tell you that these are your triggers and it's good to know and be aware of your triggers and then, work around it. No. I'm telling you that God says you can get rid of your triggers. And you start by doing that by allowing Him to heal. And when He starts healing the trauma that has now become a trigger, He will then move you slowly into the boundary. The boundary is just you demanding respect. It's just you demanding that you will be treated a certain way because you're now walking Christ. You have that authority. The enemy can no longer break you down. When you are stuck in your trigger, the enemy is keeping you in a prison. It's the same thing with your emotions. Your emotions lead you to sin. God is saying, don't let that happen. If you are surrounded by these things that are negative, you can't see God. A trigger is a negative thing. You can't see God. Because now you are guarding your heart all the time, when really, your Father in heaven can heal all of it. There won't even be a trace left. So my prayer for you tonight is that Psalms 62, I want you to fully trust in the Lord. I want you to lay it down before Him. I pray that you will give Him your pain, your trauma that has created this trigger that is holding you back. I pray that you will allow Him to heal you from the depths of your pain. The spaces you don't even know that needs healing. The spaces that you forgot about. I pray that you will allow Him to go in and perform the ultimate operation. He's the only physician that can heal you. He's the only one that can heal you to completion. And that's what I pray for you. I will see you tomorrow.